welcome back to Reads and Threads. My name's Kate. Hello if you're new here. Welcome back if you're joining us again. Today I get to film my favourite video. Again, we are going to play my TBR game, Reach the Castle, to pick our July reads. Okay, this is a slightly different filming location than the last couple of times we've played Reach the Castle. I'm hoping this setup works. The board is really big, and then when you add the containers either side, it takes up a fair bit of room. I'm going to try here, see how we go. I may eventually end up just on the floor, but we'll see how we go. I am also considering if maybe I should be rearranging where all of the spots are more often. I haven't rearranged them at all yet. They aren't stuck down. They all just have pieces of magnet on the back, so I could move them around. I was originally thinking of sticking a piece of magnet underneath so that I didn't have to stick anything to the board, but also I could technically move this whole thing to, say, a whiteboard and reprint the background and then have like on a magnetic whiteboard, but we will see. For now, I'm loving the board and how it turned out, so we'll give this a go. Hopefully this time we will hit a few prompts. I wouldn't mind trying out a few more of them. We have got a couple, but not as many as I would have hoped. But let's see what we get. So, roll 1. We have a 7. And we have landed on an owl. Here we go. Owls are the books that I added in 2013. Let's give it a go. So our first book is going to be this one. And that is Trudy Canavan's The Rogue. We might pop our book picks up there for today. Okay, book number 2. We got a 3, which is a key. So these ones just here again. See what we're gonna get. Oh, we got Legion by Brandon Sanderson. Roll number 3. We got a 9. So we got another owl. Oh, we nearly landed on the wolf. I was kind of hoping that would happen. Let's pick out another owl. So I think we are getting different prompts this time, which is good. We've got, we got another Trudy Canavan. So we're doing Priestess of the White. 2 Trudy Canavans are named once. Okay. Roll number 4. Oh, we got a 12. Oh, and we've landed on the fairies. So this is for a self-care activity. So I will film, so we'll go read at a cafe, go buy a book, something like that. Okay, for prompt number 5, we got a 3. Yay, a prompt card. So I did reshuffle these before I started. So we're just going to take the first one on top. And we got a fantasy. That's always good. I love fantasy, my favorite genre. So roll number 5, a 10, and that is it. We have reached the castle. So not as many book prompts this time, but I do still have a few that I can add in later. So we will meet back at my library chair and go over what I'm going to be reading. Okay, so let's run through all the books that I'm going to be reading. The game only gave us 4 books technically this month with one self-care activity, which will be lots of fun. I don't really need an excuse to buy more books. I think I'm doing that pretty well on my own. So it'll probably be going out kind of reading something. So I might do a vlog for one of the books that I have added to my TBR and take you along with me. So let's run through the rolls. First off, we rolled a 7 and we landed on the Owl, and that got us The Rogue by Trudy Canavan. Now this book I do own. This is the second in the Trader Spy trilogy. I spun the first book in this series back in April when we were doing our Aussie April. And then I thought it didn't really need to be a trilogy. So it will be interesting to see how this one goes and whether I like it. I do quite like Trudy's writing, which is good because we've ended up with a couple of hers on our list this time. However, I think it kind of wrapped up fine in the first one. So anyway, interested to see where it goes. It is kind of handy that it has come up now just because it was only April when I read the first one. So should be able to remember everything that's happened, and we'll see how we go. Because this is the second in the trilogy, I won't read you the synopsis on the back. But pretty much we're following on from the Black Magician trilogy about 20 years after the events that happen in that one. Our main magician, Sania, has had a child, and it's his interactions with some of the neighboring villages and cities and occupants that we're following along with, as they attempt to see whether being a black magician is required and learn new ways of dealing with rogue magicians as well. So I am intrigued to see where she takes it because, like I said, I didn't really think it needed in a second one. So that'll be interesting. Next we rolled a 3 and we landed on the Key, and we got Legion by Brandon Sanderson. Now this is a book I do not currently own, so I will look into getting this from the library most likely, or maybe even listening to it on audio. We'll see how we go. I have only read one Brandon Sanderson in the past, and that was the first in the Mistborn trilogy, which was The Final Empire. I didn't mind it. I wouldn't say that I fell in love with it. And unfortunately, thinking about audio options, I know a lot of Brandon Sanderson's audio are done by Michael Kramer at least, if not Kate Redding as well, who narrated the original Wheel of Time series, and I do not mesh well. Specifically with Michael Kramer, I find his voice extremely monotone. So if that is the case and he has narrated this one, that will not be an option for an audio read for this month. But we'll see how we go. Hopefully I won't have any problems getting my hands on a copy. Hopefully physically at least, if not some other way. Okay, because like I said, don't own a copy of Legion, I have looked it up on Goodreads. So I will read you the synopsis that they have on there. And it says, Stephen Leeds, aka Legion, is a man whose unique mental condition allows him to generate a multitude of personae, hallucinatory entities with a wide variety of personal characteristics and a vast array of highly specialized skills. As the story begins, Leeds and his aspects are drawn into a search for the missing Balubal Raisin, inventor of a camera whose astonishing properties could alter our understanding of human history and change the very structure of society. Okay, so that's sounding very sci-fi, which I had heard Brandon Sanderson has written sci-fi, young adult, all of that. I'm not opposed to sci-fi. I haven't actually read a good sci-fi in a while, I don't think. Oh, The Murderbot Diaries. I digress though, because that is one very good series. I am looking forward to getting to that at some point in July. Next up, we rolled a 9 and we landed on another Owl, and I got my second Trudy Canavan of the TBR, which was Priestess of White, which is the first in her Age of 5 series. Again, this is one I have owned for a reasonable length of time. After I read the Black Magician series and realised I liked Trudy Canavan as an author, I did go out and buy pretty much anything I saw from her after that, though never got around to reading them. It will be nice to actually get these read. I do have an ebook version, at least I think, of this as well. Will be one that I won't have to read physically with the book, which will be good because these ones are smaller paperbacks, the same with the Rogue, And I found when I was reading The Ambassador's Mission that size paperback now for me, I just really don't like. Hopefully a good read, beginning of a new series. In the middle of an obscene amount of series at the moment, but what's another one? Let's add it in. I'll just read you the synopsis on the back. This one is a new trilogy, so there shouldn't be any spoilers. I don't think it connects in with any of her others. So Aurea has just been named a priestess of the White to serve as sword and shield of the gods, one of only 5 so honoured. She finds her unique talents tested to the limit when she travels far from home as an ambassador enlisting others to follow the White. But Aurea's relationship with the member of an outcast sect of sorcerer healers risks bringing her into conflict with the others of the White and possibly destroying her future. Overshadowing all this is a powerful and mysterious black-clad sorcerer who seems to have a single purpose, annihilation of the White, and he is not alone. That actually sounds really intriguing. I am looking forward to getting to this one and seeing what it's all about. We then rolled a 12 and landed on the fairy court. Like I said, I'll take you out. We'll do some reading maybe at a cafe or a bookshop. We'll go look around, see how we go, but won't know until I do it. So that one will probably appear in my July wrap up. Okay, we then rolled a 3 and landed on my Murphy prompt cards, which was awesome. I love a Murphy prompt card, and we got a fantasy, which is my favorite genre. So really like this card. It gave me probably too many possibilities for books, but it also means that this card will no longer be in the game for the foreseeable future. I haven't been adding the cards back in just because there are so many prompts. I want a chance for some of them to come up. So we won't be getting a fantasy card again for a fair while, which is fine. I think I can add a fair few fantasy into my reading just generally anyway. The book I have picked is one I am extremely eager to get to. I have a special edition on its way, which I can't wait to receive. And that is Rachel Gillig's The Knight and the Moth. I have heard awesome things about this book and I really can't wait to get to it. I have added this one into my fantasy board for this year, the Knights and Paladins, so that's going to be great and we'll knock something off there for that. And just super excited to try Rachel for the first time. I've never read from her before, though I am super eager also to get to her duology, but really looking forward to this one. I'll read you the back so you can tell what it's about. So it says, Sybil Delling has spent 9 years dreaming of having no dreams at all. She is a diviner. In her dreams, she receives visions from 6 unearthly figures known as omens. From them, she can predict terrible things before they occur. The lords and common folk alike travel across the kingdom of trams, windswept moors to learn their futures by her dreams. Just as she and her sister diviners near the end of their service, a mysterious knight arrives at the cathedral. Rude, heretical, and devilishly handsome, the knight Roderick has no respect for Sybil's visions. But when Sybil's fellow diviners begin to vanish one by one, she has no choice but to seek his help in finding them. From the world outside the cathedral's cloisters is wrought with peril. Only the gods have the answers she is seeking. And as much as she'd rather avoid Roderick's dark eyes and sharp tongue, only a heretic can defeat a god. It sounds awesome. I can't wait to get to it. Okay, I have turned on the overhead light. The sun going in and out was driving me insane. So hopefully that is slightly better. We do still have a few books that I need to add on top of the game, and they are for Catch Up Book Club, my In Real Life book club, Buzzword Challenge, and then a special request. So we'll get into those. And I do have a couple of arcs as well that I will need to read this month. This is the first time I have ever gotten an arc, so I am looking forward to reading those as well. First off, I think we will look at my In Real Life book club, the Book Hose, and this month we are reading Havenfall by Sarah Holland. So this one doesn't tell me a huge amount on the back, I've just noticed, but we'll see where we go. So it says, Maddie Morrow knows that Havenfall is more than it seems. Beneath the beautiful sprawling inn lie the hidden gateways to 3 ancient realms, Bryn, Fordenkill, and Solaria. Maddie's destiny is here, rooted in her family's promise to protect the fragile alliance between the worlds. But when a brutal murder shatters the peace and someone she loves stands accused, Maddie must step forward to protect the place and the people she cares for most. Her safe haven will never be the same again. It sounds like something I could be really interested in. I do like a fantasy. This one's a teen, which I have no problems reading a young adult book. However, a couple of the people in my book club that have already read this are giving it fairly low stars. Hopefully I'll like it. We'll see how we go. But yeah, so that's my first extra book. Next, we have obviously my catch-up book club, which is with Becca and the Books, and we are reading Wrath. Hopefully by the time we get to July, we'll have started this already, so it won't be as big a commitment. That was my plan. So it was on my June TBR and it will definitely be on my July TBR. I'm not entirely sure when the live show for this one is. I'll need to look it up and see if they have settled on a date, but it's usually around the middle weekend. I think Becca and Gavin, whose channel this one is going to be on, from Gavin Reads It All, I think they're going away. So it'll be interesting to see when they actually settle, but I would like to get this done before the live show. Even though I can't physically catch the live show, I would like to be able to watch it as soon after as I can. I have talked a lot about this series already, but if you don't know what it's about, this is the last book in The Faithful and the Fallen, where we're in the middle of a god war between good and evil, light and dark. We follow a range of characters, both men and trolls, as they battle it out. And considering that this is the last book, I have a feeling that this one is going to be full of epic battles. I hope some gruesome deaths for some of the characters, that would be great. And just an interesting conclusion. I am really looking forward to seeing how this one ends. Next up, we have the July Buzzword Challenge prompt, which is punctuation in the title. For this one, I have picked Mark Lawrence's The Book That Wouldn't Burn. So this will work, one, for this prompt because there is an apostrophe in wouldn't, but it is also on my Our Fantasy bingo board, which is great. So that is on there for impossible places. That will get that prompt filled as well. So really looking forward to trying this one. This is a new series. I've never read from Mark Lawrence before, but have heard quite good things about this series. This one says, two strangers find themselves connected by a vast and mysterious library containing many wonders and still more secrets. In this powerfully moving first book in a series from the international best-selling author of Red Sister and Prince of Thorns. The boy has lived his whole life trapped within a book-choked chamber older than empires and larger than cities. The girl has spent hers in a tiny settlement out on the dust where nightmares stalk and no one goes. The world has never even noticed them. That's about to change. Their stories spiral around each other across worlds and time. This is a tale of truth and lies and hearts and the blurring of one into another, a journey on which knowledge erodes certainty and on which, though the pen may be mightier than the sword, blood will be spilled and cities burned. That sounds really good. I'm looking forward to getting to this one. I do have, I think, at least an ebook version of this as well. So that would be great. I can pop in and out from either one. Okay, so the special request that I am going to be adding onto my July TBR is from my niece. My niece is extremely eager for me to try what is at the moment one of her favourite series, and she has lent me her book. So I am going to be adding this one onto my reads, and this is called The Extremely Inconvenient Adventures of Bronte Metalstone, which is by Jacqueline Moriarty, and this is the first book in the series, though from what she's told me, they don't necessarily have to be read in order, I don't think, but I always like to start at the beginning anyway. So this one says, I was 10 years old when my parents were killed by pirates. This did not bother me as much as you might think. I hardly knew my parents. Bronte Metalstone's parents ran away to have adventures when she was a baby, leaving her to be raised by her Aunt Isabel and the butler. But Bronte's parents have left extremely detailed and bossy instructions for Bronte in their will. She is to travel the kingdoms and empires perfectly alone, delivering special gifts to her 10 other aunts. There is a farmer aunt and a veterinarian aunt, a pair of aunts who captain a cruise ship together, and an aunt who is the reigning monarch of a small kingdom. Now armed with only her parents' instructions, a chest full of strange gifts, and her own strong will, Bronte must journey forth to face dragons, chief detectives, and pirates, and the gathering suspicion that there might be something more to her extremely inconvenient quest than meets the eye. So it says, from the award-winning Jacqueline Moriarty comes a fantastic tale of high intrigue, grand adventure, and abundance of aunts. It sounds like a lot of fun, and I am looking forward to reading this one and then chatting to my niece about it after I'm done. Hey, like I said, I did get a couple of arcs this month. I have never really gone on any of those kind of sites that offer arcs or anything like that. This one I saw advertised on Instagram or Facebook or something, and I filled out the form just to see because I thought it sounded intriguing, and I got accepted. So I was really happy with that. So this book is called Of the Stars and Sea by Brianna Remus. This one is expected to be published on July 10th according to Goodreads, and that's the date that they've given me in the rundown as well. So I've looked it up on Goodreads, and I'll read you the synopsis that they have on there, and we'll see how we go. It says, Of the Star and Seas is a bingeable, rivals to lovers romantasy with sharp-witted banter, page-turning adventure, and a delectable, spicy romance. A traitorous pirate lord, a bounty hunter with a score to settle, and an epic treasure that will grant them both the freedom they desire unless they destroy each other first. Rowena Stone is captain of the once fearsome pirate ship, the Trinity. Bound to her father's old debts, Rowena has been forced to break the pirate's code by capturing her own kind in exchange for money. Tired of being shackled to her father's past, Rowena hatches a plan to steal an ancient artifact, said to unveil a map to the greatest treasure ever known to man. But the plan goes awry when Grayson Tide, the most ruthless and feared pirate lord in the Southern Realm, intercepts them. When Grayson discovers Rowena has one thing he does not, knowledge of the old god's language inscribed upon the artifact, he forces her onto his ship. However, they are not the only ones in search for the artifact, and as the threat of their enemies looms, Rowena must trust the one person she's always feared. But what terrifies her more is her perilous attraction to Grayson. In a world where love is a traitorous thing and danger lurks around every corner, Rowena must decide if finding the treasure is worth losing her heart. I think it sounds really good, and I'm so happy that I did get an ARC approval. So I'm going to be reading that one and then posting my thoughts on Goodreads, I think I said, and Amazon. So we'll see how we go. The other ARC that I have received is called Cursed by the Fae by Jennifer Redmile. So this is expected to come out on July 13th. So I've got a couple that I've got to read fairly early in July. This one says, how do you protect the ones you love when fate itself is the enemy? For 2 years, Ellie of Morwich, half mortal, half witch, and her dragon shifter husband Jace thought they'd escape the worst fate could throw at them. The love of the fated mate, twin daughters on the way, but destiny has a cruel sense of timing. Now a curse threatens their unborn babies, and their only hope lies with the Fae prince they just met. In a desperate race against time, they soon discover that the outcome of their quest will affect not just their family, but the future of the worlds as they know them. Can they fulfill the expectations required to succeed and finally achieve the happy ever after that was almost in their grasp, or will fate win after all? Because everyone knows that someone always has to pay the price. And it says, if you're a fan of YA paranormal romance featuring fated mates, prophecies, sacrifice, love, and chosen family, then you are sure to make Cursed by the Fae your next read. So it sounds interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about an already established couple over a couple getting together within the story, but we'll see how we go. I'm not entirely sure I'm going to be requesting a huge amount of arcs, or if I'm ever going to sign up to somewhere like NetGalley or anything like that. I just thought it'd be a bit of fun and see how we go. And I was extremely honoured to be selected, especially was shocked when I got the email to say I had been given the arc of The Stars and the Sea. So yeah, really looking forward to getting to both of those, and hopefully before they are due and I can pop up the reviews on Amazon and Goodreads. I think that is definitely more than enough to be getting on with in July. I do have another couple of videos coming up where I'm going to be chatting about another challenge that I'm going to be taking on for the next year, which I'm really looking forward to, but hopefully everything that I'm reading this month will work in with that. So look out for that video. I hope that your July is looking just as interesting and you have some really great reads coming up. Have you read any of the ones that I've picked out? What did you think of them? I would love to know. I have linked down below my Goodreads, my Instagram, and my Storygraph if you would like to come along and follow me on any of those. I would love to have you on board. If you have any recommendations for me, please leave them in the comments. That would be great. I don't think there's any possible way you can have too many books on your TBR. Please don't forget to like this video, and if you'd like to see more from me, I release a video once a week, so please do think about subscribing. And I hope that wherever you are having a really wonderful day, and we'll see you next time. Bye.